Yo, so here's the update today on the NASDAQ price, all right? We had obviously a bull market, but the more imperative question is how would you have capitalized on it proficiently from the onset, right? When could you have said unequivocally that, hey, you know what, this thing's going up and I need to get in? Well, it's as simple as a horizontal line, really. If you trade the breakout pattern that I do, you could see that there's only three requirements that are going to determine whether or not the trade is viable and then to which direction that you would want to take it, right? So by looking at what we're seeing here in the pre-market, the first order block that was defined was approximately here. Now, I know you probably don't know what an order block is, but I can't tell you everything, right? Because then it wouldn't be proprietary trading. It wouldn't be discreet. Then everybody would know. But ideally, this is where it's located, okay? And you would have the horizontal there, 46.78, and then you would look to your right. You'd wait for the market to open at 9:30, and then you would assess if it's going to be a palatable trade. Yeah. So when you look, as such, you can see that we get that confirmation, right? We get the break there. We got keys defined here for anything that closes below. And you can see that this would have really been a time on the opening at 9:40 for you to get in a bit more aggressively, right? To double down and then take price to higher highs. So I would say on a conservative disposition, you could maybe put in like, let's say 30%. And then you would have seen with a trailing stop that you would have done nearly 300% returns on your original capital. So what does that mean? If you put in 30% only, you're looking at about nearly 90%, right? You've almost flipped the account entirely. So if you have only, let's say, $100, you put in $30, you just made a return of $90. And if you know anything of compound interest, you know that this is a big deal, right? If you look over at London session that we had precursively before that of the New York, you would see that it was synonymous, except in the opposite direction. We had the candle that broke critical levels of support, and then we would have taken entry here at 4:05, literally 5 minutes after London open. And depending on which brokerage you use, you would see that there wasn't really any pullback to work with, technically. But you still could have gone pretty aggressive. You know what I mean? You still could have gone like really aggressive. And and then it would have went down about 100%, I think, if I'm not mistaken. It could be 200. But at the end of the day, man, that's all it is. You know, literally within 24 hours, not even 12 hours, you've been able to make about 400% returns on your capital. All right. You could look at any other industry and any other profession in the entire world, from Tokyo to New York, and you won't find anything that's going to offer you this sort of return on investment. Right? There may be a few exceptions in there, right? But it's going to be along these same lines. It's going to be in finance. It's going to be with aggressive proprietary trading, and it's really the forefront of not being poor, right? If you want to make money, guess what? You go to the money, right? It's like if you want to I don't want to make a silly analogy, but if you want water, you don't go to the fucking Arabian desert, right? You go find a river. And I don't know, it's just in modern society we seem to have a delusion that it makes a respectable incision to dedicate yourself to a business that you do not even like, when in full actuality the only thing that you're actually looking for in the first place is money. You follow the money is what I'm getting at. So if this makes sense, right, and you're seeing that timestamp there at 4:20, if you know what I mean, wink wink, get on over and let's make some cash.